Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And we're going to be looking at our 5th episode of our famous love story.
Yes, I'm sorry I love you.
Okay. Part 5. So if you haven't listened to the first 4, I suggest you go do that first because...
You're going to be a little bit lost.
But it's getting really good.
Yeah, and so good that I don't think we can even say...
What's going to happen next.
No, we can't say what the key language is.
Oh, yeah, we can't preview anything because it's we want to surprise you.
Yes.
But we can tell you this. What's going on?
The last time we saw Veronica and Steven, they broke up, right?
Right.
And Veronica was with her friend and feeling really terrible, and then Steven suddenly came to sing a beautiful song.
So this is continuing on that.
Right.
Okay. So let's listen to the dialogue, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the difficult vocabulary we might find.
Honey, of course I forgive you. I love you so much. I've really missed you. I was wrong to get upset over nothing.
I'm sorry I haven't called or anything, but right after you decided you wanted a break, I was up north to put out some major forest fires. I was in the middle of nowhere working day and night trying to prevent the blaze from spreading. It was pretty intense.
Oh, honey, I'm glad you're okay, but I have some exciting news. I think I'm pregnant.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. This is great news. I've always wanted to be a father. We'll go to the doctor first thing in the morning.
We have your test results back, and indeed, you are pregnant. Let's see here. Everything seems to be in order. Your approximate due date is October 27th, 2009, so that means the baby was conceived on February 3rd, 2009.
Are you sure? Are these things accurate?
Well, yes, sir, they are.
What's wrong? Why are you asking these questions?
This baby isn't mine. I was away the first week of February at a training seminar.
No, it can't be.
All right, so more drama in our love story.
Oh my God.
Things were going well, and now more bad news.
Yeah, or good news.
Or good news. We're not sure yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the vocabulary first in language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Well, we're going to look at 4 words now. The first one, blaze.
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 So this noun is another word for a fire, right?
For a big fire.
Yeah, a really big fire.
The blaze. So basically, it's like the flame of the fire.
Yes. This one is a little bit difficult, so I think we can use some examples to show us how to use this word.
Example 1.
The blaze is spreading quickly. We need to evacuate these people.
Example 2.
We have to go in there and save those people from the blaze.
Okay, so it's clear now. Blaze. Let's look at our next word. Conceived.
Conceived.
The past of conceive.
Right, conceive.
Conceive is a nice fancy word.
Yes. And what does it mean, Marco?
To create.
Oh, like how you sidestepped around that one.
So it means to create. You can conceive a baby.
Yes.
You can conceive an idea.
Yes.
So it basically means to create.
Yes. Most commonly with the baby, though.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, conceive. So after the baby was conceived,
Yep.
we have a due date.
Yes.
We all know that it's 9 months later,
Yes, so-
approximately.
Yep. Due dates.
So the due date is the date of birth, basically.
It's the doctor's guess when the birth would be.
Would be, okay.
Yep. When you go to the doctor and say, oh, when will my baby be born? He'll say, oh, well, your due date is blah, blah, blah.
9 months later.
Yep.
Okay. And our last word in language takeaway, accurate.
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 Now, the due dates aren't accurate.
You're right.
That means they're not 100% sure or precise.
Yes. So when something is accurate, it's absolutely certain.
Absolutely precise.
Yes.
100%. Okay, so accurate. Let's listen to some more examples of how we can use accurate.
Example 1.
A blood test is the most accurate way of finding out if you're pregnant.
Example 2.
These reports are not accurate, John. We checked and discovered a lot of mistakes.
Example 3.
This new software helps us calculate costs in a very accurate way.
With those examples, I think we're ready to listen to this dialogue again. This time we're going to slow it down, right?
Yeah, in case you were so shocked by what happened that you couldn't follow.
Honey, of course I forgive you. I love you so much. I've really missed you. Please forgive me. I was wrong to get upset over nothing.
I'm sorry I haven't called or anything. But right after you decided you wanted a break, I was called up north to put out some major forest fires. I was in the middle of nowhere, working day and night, trying to prevent the blaze from spreading. It was pretty intense.
Oh, honey, I'm glad you're okay. But I have some exciting news. I think I'm pregnant.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. This is great news. I've always wanted to be a father. We'll go to the doctor first thing in the morning.
We have your test results back, and indeed, you are pregnant. Let's see here. Everything seems to be in order. Your approximate due date is October 27th, 2009. So that means the baby was conceived on February 3rd, 2009.
Are you sure? Are these things accurate?
Well, yes, sir, they are.
What's wrong? Why are you asking these questions?
This baby isn't mine. I was away the first week of February at a training seminar.
No, it can't be.
All right, so continuing on with our drama, let's take a look at some interesting phrases in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Well, we've got 3 phrases for you. The first one is the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
This is a kind of a funny one, but I think if we listen to some examples, it will help us to understand the meaning of this phrase.
Example 1.
We are in the middle of nowhere. How can we find our way back home?
Example 2.
I was in the middle of nowhere, so I couldn't even use my mobile phone.
Example 3.
It takes me 2 hours to drive to your house. It's in the middle of nowhere.
All right, so middle of nowhere, it means that you are lost.
Yeah, you're in a place with no cities or people or anything nearby.
Okay, so just imagine yourself in a desert. That would be the middle of nowhere.
Yes, or in Canada.
Canada.
That would be the middle of nowhere.
All right, let's take a look at our next phrase. First thing in the morning.
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 So when we talk about the first thing, it means
Really, really early in the morning.
really early.
Yep.
So I can change it a little bit and say first thing in the afternoon
Early in the afternoon.
or first thing tomorrow morning,
Right.
right?
So really early tomorrow.
Okay. So it's a very common way of referring to very early.
Yeah, it's not like first thing in the morning is like 6 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
right? But if you say, okay, I'll take care of that first thing in the morning, you'll do it right away in the morning.
Right away. Mm-hmm. Right when you get to the office, for
Right.
example.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at our last phrase. Seems to be in order.
Seems to be in order.
Everything seems to be in order.
So everything is okay. Everything's normal.
Everything seems to be normal.
Yep.
Everything looks okay.
Yes.
So this is a very common phrase when people check your documents
Yeah,
or a
that's
report.
true. Yep.
They'll say, okay, all the papers seem to be in order. Very common.
Yes. Good news when you're pregnant that everything seems to be in order.
Exactly.
Yep.
Everything is normal. All right, so let's listen to this dramatic dialogue one more time, and we'll come back and talk some more.
Honey, of course I forgive you. I love you so much. I've really missed you. I was wrong to get upset over nothing.
I'm sorry I haven't called or anything, but right after you decided you wanted a break, I was up north to put out some major forest fires. I was in the middle of nowhere working day and night trying to prevent the blaze from spreading. It was pretty intense.
Oh, honey, I'm glad you're okay, but I have some exciting news. I think I'm pregnant.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. This is great news. I've always wanted to be a father. We'll go to the doctor first thing in the morning.
We have your test results back, and indeed, you are pregnant. Let's see here. Everything seems to be in order. Your approximate due date is October 27th, 2009, so that means the baby was conceived on February 3rd, 2009.
Are you sure? Are these things accurate?
Well, yes, sir, they are.
What's wrong? Why are you asking these questions?
This baby isn't mine. I was away the first week of February at a training seminar.
No, it can't be.
Well, Marco, what do you think about this situation? What would you do if you were this guy?
It's complicated.
I know.
I don't know what I would do. It seems like something very typical of soap operas.
Yes.
Well, I don't know because she didn't really deny it in the end. She didn't say no right away.
Yeah, but she didn't say like, oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't really accept it. So
Yeah.
it's still a little bit difficult to see if maybe she cheated on him or
Yes.
something.
Hey guys, what do you think? Do you think Veronica cheated on Stephen?
Do you think it's his baby? Maybe it's not. Maybe the doctor is wrong.
Maybe it's the doctor's baby.
Maybe it's anything could happen here at English Pod. So send us your ideas and tell us, what do you think happens next?
Have you ever been certain about someone you love until one small detail made you question everything? In today's story, we'll follow a moment when love, trust, and truth collide. What about you? Have you ever faced a situation that changed how you saw someone? I still remember that night as if it happened just yesterday. I was sitting in my small apartment, staring at the phone on my coffee table. For days, I had told myself I wouldn't call Veronica. After all, she was the one who said she needed a break. But the truth was, every hour felt heavier without her. My chest ached with a strange mix of anger and longing. Then, out of nowhere, my phone buzzed. A message lit up the screen. "Can we talk?" My heart pounded as I typed back, "Where are you?" She replied instantly, "Downstairs." When I opened the door, there she was, standing in the cold evening air, her eyes red as if she'd been crying for days. Before I could even think of what to say, she stepped forward and hugged me. I could feel her shaking. "Stephen," she whispered, "I'm so sorry. I was wrong to get upset over nothing." I held her close, and the words left my mouth before I could stop them. "Of course I forgive you. I love you, Veronica. I've missed you so much." We went inside, and I finally told her why I had disappeared so suddenly after our breakup. The day she had told me she wanted space, I had been called north to help fight a massive forest fire. The blaze was so big, it swallowed the horizon. I spent days in the middle of nowhere, no cell service, no contact with anyone, working day and night with other firefighters to keep the flames from destroying more homes. It was exhausting, dangerous, and lonely. When I finished my story, she smiled through her tears. "I'm just glad you're okay," she said. Then she hesitated, as if gathering courage. "Stephen, I have some news. I noticed her hands trembling as she spoke. I think I'm pregnant. For a moment, I froze. Then the shock melted into a warm rush of joy. Really? That's amazing, Veronica. I've always wanted to be a father. We agreed to see a doctor first thing in the morning, and for the first time in weeks, I felt hope again. But deep down, a tiny voice whispered that our story wasn't finished, that there was more waiting for us, just beyond the horizon. The next morning, the air outside was fresh and cool. Veronica and I walked to the doctor's office together. She held my hand tightly, and I could feel her nervous energy in every step. I tried to stay calm for her, but inside my thoughts were racing. The waiting room smelled faintly of disinfectant. A young nurse called Veronica's name, and we followed her into a small examination room. She took some notes, asked a few questions, and then left to get the doctor. When the doctor arrived, he greeted us with a warm smile. He flipped through a folder, looked at Veronica, and said, "Well, I've reviewed your test results, and congratulations, you are pregnant." Veronica's face lit up. She squeezed my hand so hard I almost laughed. But then the doctor continued, glancing at his notes. "Everything seems to be in order. Your approximate due date is October 27th, 2009. That means the baby was conceived on February 3rd, 2009. At first, the date didn't register in my mind. But then my stomach tightened. February 3rd. I replayed the timeline in my head. I wasn't home that week. In fact, I was hundreds of miles away at a training seminar. "Doctor," I said slowly, "are you sure those dates are accurate?" He nodded. "They are quite accurate, yes. Give or take a day, but the window is very small." I turned my eyes to Veronica. My voice came out quieter than I intended. "That's impossible. I wasn't here the first week of February." Her smile had vanished. She stared at me, her lips slightly parted, but said nothing. My heart began to pound in my ears. "Veronica, how is this possible?" I asked. She looked away, focusing on a spot on the wall as if it might hold the answer. "Stephen, she began, but then stopped. The doctor shifted awkwardly, sensing the tension, and excused himself from the room. Silence filled the space, heavy and suffocating. I waited for her to speak, but all she did was bite her lip and avoid my eyes. My joy from that morning was gone, replaced by a cold, twisting knot of doubt in my chest. We left the clinic without saying a word. The sun was bright, but to me, the streets felt cold and colorless. Every step back to my apartment felt heavier than the last. When we finally got inside, I closed the door and leaned against it, watching Veronica set her bag down on the couch. She looked pale, like she had been holding her breath for hours. "Veronica," I said, my voice low but steady, "I need you to tell me the truth. Is this baby mine?" She hesitated, her fingers twisting together. "Stephen, I don't know how to start." "Start with the truth," I replied. Her eyes filled with tears. "When we broke up, I was so hurt and confused. I thought we were over for good. A few days later, I went out with some friends. I drank too much, and I made a mistake. I didn't plan it. I didn't even think it would matter because I thought you and I were finished. Her words hit me like a heavy punch to the chest. I turned away from her, staring out the window. A delivery truck passed by, the sound of its engine fading into the distance. So, there's a chance this baby isn't mine, I said quietly. Yes, she whispered, but there's also a chance it is. I want it to be yours. I love you, Stephen. I never stopped loving you. I stood there for a long moment, my mind caught between anger, sadness, and the faint memory of the happiness I'd felt just hours ago. Part of me wanted to walk away, to protect myself from more pain. Another part wanted to hold on to the woman I'd fought fires for, the woman whose laughter I still remembered like music. Finally, I turned to her. If we're going to move forward, we need to know the truth. We'll do a paternity test when the time is right. Until then, I need space to think. Her face crumpled, but she nodded. I understand. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering how love could change so quickly. Just yesterday, I had been ready to start a new chapter with her. Now, I wasn't sure if our story was meant to continue, or if it was already over.
Trust, timing, and the language you need when a surprise pregnancy creates a difficult moment. Right from the start, this story looks at a couple in love, a job that is dangerous, a sudden pregnancy test, and a calendar that does not seem to match. So you will hear clear, useful English for emotions, doctor visits, and honest conversations. Picture one partner returning from a long trip for work far from the city, the kind of place people call the middle of nowhere. The job is intense. It involves long shifts, smoke, and heat from a giant fire, also called a blaze. The other partner has big news, a positive test. Joy rises first, then worry. The clinic gives a due date, which is the doctor's best guess for the baby's birthday. Suddenly, the couple must think about trust, about accuracy, and about how pregnancy dates are calculated. This is the topic you will hear: how to stay calm, how to ask clear questions, and how to use strong, simple English to handle a sensitive situation with care. I start with useful words from this situation. Blaze means a large, strong, dangerous fire. A firefighter is a person who fights fires. In a sentence, you can say, the blaze spread quickly, but the firefighters worked all night. In the middle of nowhere means far from towns, services, or phone signal. You can say, my hotel was in the middle of nowhere, so I had no internet. Many people also say the boonies to mean the same thing in casual speech. Conceive means to create a baby. People often use the passive form in this topic, as in, the baby was conceived in early February. Due date is the estimated delivery day. Accurate means correct and precise. A pregnancy test is a test that shows if a person is pregnant. A checkup is a routine visit to make sure everything is healthy. When a doctor looks at papers and says, everything seems to be in order, it means everything looks normal. First thing in the morning means very early, as the first action of the day. Finally, a break in a relationship means a temporary pause to think and breathe. These words are common in real life and will help you talk with doctors, with a partner, or with friends. Now connect the language to real actions. Imagine you plan your first clinic visit. Strong, calm sentences help you get the facts. Use short requests and polite questions. Say, could you please explain how you calculated the due date? Follow with, how accurate is this number? Ask, what tests can we do to be more certain? If the clinic can see you early, you can say, I would like to come first thing in the morning. If you need to show worry without sounding angry, try, I am confused by the timing and I need help understanding. If you must show urgency, say, "This situation is sensitive for us. Could you please check the results again?" These lines are simple, respectful, and clear. Doctors and nurses will understand them easily, even if you are nervous. Next, practice how to speak with a partner when emotions are high. Use language that slows the situation down. Try, "I want to listen to you fully." Add, "I feel anxious because the dates are surprising." Continue, "Can we look at the calendar together?" Use questions that do not attack. What do we know for sure? And what do we need to confirm with the doctor? If trust is shaken but you want to protect the relationship, say, "I care about us and I want to handle this fairly." If you need space to think, avoid harsh words like "you are lying." Instead, say, "I need a little time to process this." If someone mentions taking a break, set a clear plan. If we take a break, let's agree on how we will communicate and when we will talk again. These sentences keep the door open and reduce blame. Here are short, model sentences you can repeat out loud for fluency. The blaze was intense, and the team was in the middle of nowhere. We scheduled a checkup first thing in the morning. The due date is an estimate, not an exact day. These numbers do not seem accurate to me. Everything seems to be in order, but I still have questions. I feel mixed emotions, happiness, fear, and confusion. Please explain the steps, one by one. Let's focus on facts, not guesses. I am willing to listen if you are ready to talk. We can ask for a second opinion if we need one. Finally, practice a short story summary using today's language. A firefighter returns from a tough mission. The partner shares a positive pregnancy test. The clinic gives a due date. The dates raise questions. The couple uses calm English to ask for clarity, to check accuracy, and to protect trust. This is how language becomes a tool. It protects you when the heart is loud and the facts are quiet. When emotions are mixed, part joy, part worry, it is easy for words to come out in a way that makes the other person defensive. This is why it is important to choose language that shows curiosity instead of accusation. In a sensitive moment, replacing "why did you" with "can you help me understand" changes the tone completely. For example, instead of saying "why didn't you tell me sooner," you could say "can you help me understand when you first knew?" Both sentences ask for the same information, but the second one invites an open answer. The goal is to keep communication open so that misunderstandings can be cleared. In situations involving timing, facts, and feelings, you need vocabulary for both medical and emotional discussions. Words like ultrasound, conception, trimester, and estimate will help you in a clinic. Ultrasound means an imaging test that shows the baby inside the womb. Conception is the moment when the baby begins to develop. A trimester is one of the 3 stages of pregnancy, each about 3 months long. An estimate is an informed guess based on available information. When you hear these words from a doctor, you can confirm your understanding by saying, "So, if I understand correctly, the ultrasound suggests we are in the 2nd trimester." This shows you are listening and checking the facts. It is also helpful to prepare polite but clear follow-up questions. You could ask, "Could we review the calendar together?" Or, "Is it possible the date is off by a few weeks?" These are short, simple sentences that keep the conversation respectful while showing you want accurate information. If you need to double-check with another professional, you might say, "I think it would be helpful to get a second opinion." This phrase is common in English and does not sound aggressive. It simply means you want to hear from another qualified person. At home, conversations can be even harder than those at the clinic. Here, emotional vocabulary matters. You can use words like reassurance, trust, doubt, and clarity. Reassurance means something that makes you feel less worried. You could say, "I need some reassurance about what happened." Trust is the belief that someone is honest and reliable. Doubt is the feeling that something may not be true. Clarity is when something is easy to understand. You might say, "I need more clarity before I can relax." These words help you talk about your feelings directly without turning the conversation into an argument. When tension rises, tone of voice is as important as the words. Speak slowly. Take short pauses. And keep your volume steady. This signals that you want a calm exchange. If you feel your emotions are pushing you toward anger, you can pause and say, I need a minute to think about what you said. In English, this is a polite way to slow down without ending the conversation completely. You can even agree to revisit the topic by saying, let's talk about this again after we have more information. This prevents rushed conclusions and allows both people to process their thoughts. We have some surprising news. The dates are a little unclear. We are talking with the doctor to get more accurate information. This short version keeps emotions calm and focuses on facts. Practicing this kind of clear, neutral statement will make it easier to use in real life when the moment is intense. When you are dealing with sensitive news and uncertain timing, it is natural to want proof you can trust. In medical situations, proof often comes from tests, records, and professional opinions. Learning the right English for these moments helps you feel in control. For example, you might say, I would like to review the medical records, or could you explain how the results were calculated? These questions are polite but show you expect clear answers. If you want to check the same information more than once, you can use the phrase, let's confirm this detail again. It sounds cooperative rather than suspicious. There are also specific terms you will hear in a clinic or from a doctor. Gestation means the length of time a baby has been developing in the womb. A prenatal appointment is a checkup for the health of both mother and baby before birth. A scan is another word for an image taken with medical equipment, often an ultrasound. A heartbeat reading is when the doctor measures the baby's heart rate. Knowing these words lets you understand more and ask better questions. You could say, during the scan, could you point out how you estimate the gestation period? Or, is the heartbeat reading typical for this stage? Sometimes you will hear medical information that feels hard to believe. This is when emotional control and precise language work together. Instead of saying, that can't be right, you could say, this result is unexpected for me. Could we double-check the calculation? Both sentences express doubt, but the second one invites cooperation. In English, phrases like unexpected for me or different from what I thought keep the tone neutral while still showing your concern. At home, conversations about proof and timing can bring up strong feelings. Vocabulary like evidence, explanation, misunderstanding, and resolution can help. Evidence means facts or information that show something is true. Explanation is the reason something happened. Misunderstanding is when two people see the same situation differently. Resolution is the decision or agreement that solves a problem. You might say, I need more evidence before I can be sure. Or, can you give me your explanation for the dates? If you want to calm things down, you could say, maybe this is a misunderstanding we can resolve together. Practical phrases are useful for setting next steps. In English, you might say, let's make a list of the questions we need to ask. Or, can we write down the dates we both remember? This turns the focus from emotions to action. Another phrase is, let's base our decisions on the information we confirm. This shows a commitment to fairness and truth. To practice, try summarizing the approach like this. When the news is sensitive, I focus on clear questions, accurate terms, and a calm tone. I look for evidence, ask for explanations, and work toward a resolution. Saying this out loud helps you remember the balance between facts and feelings so you can use it when the real conversation happens. When a situation combines strong emotions and important decisions, the way you prepare can make the difference between confusion and clarity. Preparation, in English, means practicing the right words before you enter a difficult conversation. For example, you might prepare by writing a short list of your main concerns. I want to understand the dates, I need to know the medical basis for the estimate, and I hope we can agree on the next steps. Having these points in front of you helps you stay focused when feelings rise. It is also useful to prepare polite transitions, sentences that move the conversation from one topic to another without sounding abrupt. You can say, "Before we finish, could we talk about?" Or, "One more thing I would like to check is..." These phrases work in both personal and professional situations. They show that you are organized and respectful. In a medical context, you may hear terms like conception date, cycle length, and margin of error. The conception date is the estimated day when the baby began developing. Cycle length is the number of days from the start of one menstrual period to the start of the next. Margin of error means the possible difference between the estimate and the true number. You can combine these terms in questions such as, does the margin of error mean the conception date could be earlier? Or, could my cycle length change the due date? These questions are precise and show that you are thinking carefully about the details. In personal conversations, you might need words for emotions and boundaries. Boundaries are the limits you set for what is acceptable in a relationship. You could say, "I want to set a boundary about how we speak to each other during this discussion." Another useful word is compromise, which means finding a middle solution that both people can accept. You might say, "I am willing to compromise if we can agree on the facts." These words help keep the exchange constructive, even when trust feels fragile. When making plans, short, clear agreements are best. You can say, "We will meet the doctor together next week," or "We will wait for the results before making any decisions." You can also use conditional sentences to show flexibility. "If the results change, we will talk again." Conditional language keeps the future open and avoids locking into a decision too early. Finally, remember that clarity comes from both language and attitude. The more calmly and clearly you speak, the more likely you are to get honest answers and fair decisions. When a situation is emotional, strong English skills give you the tools to focus on facts, protect trust, and guide the conversation toward a solution everyone can live with. This is how language becomes more than words. It becomes a way to find stability when life feels uncertain.
Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A large, strong, dangerous fire.
Blaze.
Far from a city or town.
In the middle of nowhere.
Temporary stop in a romantic relationship.
Break.
Early in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
Everything is okay. Everything is normal.
Everything seems to be in order.
Date when the doctor thinks the baby will be born.
Due date.
Be created.
Conceived.
Having no mistakes or errors.
Accurate.
An appointment to see the doctor to make sure the person is healthy.
Checkup.
A medical test done to see if a woman is pregnant.
Pregnancy test.
Early in the afternoon, before anything else.
First thing in the afternoon.
A place far from cities or towns. Informal.
The boonies.
A person whose job is to put out fires, male or female.
Firefighter.
Let's try that faster.
An appointment to see the doctor to make sure the person is healthy.
Checkup.
A person whose job is to put out fires, male or female.
Firefighter.
A place far from cities or towns, informal.
The boonies.
Everything is okay. Everything is normal.
Everything seems to be in order.
Far from a city or town.
In the middle of nowhere.
A medical test done to see if a woman is pregnant.
Pregnancy test.
Having no mistakes or errors.
Accurate.
Early in the afternoon, before anything else.
First thing in the afternoon.
A large, strong, dangerous fire.
Blaze.
Temporary stop in a romantic relationship.
Break.
Early in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
Date when the doctor thinks the baby will be born.
Due date.
Be created.
Conceived.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Blaze. The family escaped the blaze just in time. Minutes later, the house burnt down. Blaze. The firemen rescued 2 kittens from the blaze. Blaze. Four people were injured in the blaze after the stove caught fire. Accurate. Are you sure that your watch is accurate? Accurate. This data isn't accurate because it's 5 years old. Accurate. I need you to be more accurate. When exactly did this happen? In the middle of nowhere. I have no idea where the nearest town is. We're in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere. We were in the middle of nowhere when the car ran out of gas. In the middle of nowhere. What? You want to move to Kansas? That's in the middle of nowhere. First thing in the morning. I'll call you first thing in the morning. Will you be awake at 7? First thing in the morning. We left first thing in the morning to avoid traffic. First thing in the morning. He sent me the email first thing in the morning. Everything seems to be in order. I've checked your files and everything seems to be in order. Everything seems to be in order. Everything seems to be in order for your visa application. Everything seems to be in order. The doctor told me everything seemed to be in order.